Hey everyone, welcome back to the Pure Fuel podcast. I'm your host, Eric. I'm joined by
Bethany.
Oh, she jumped in.
Yeah,
it's Bethany.
I don't know if he's going to introduce me or not.
We've done some podcasts in the past, so old habits die hard.
Yes.
But we're glad that you're joining us on this show. We want to take some time and just introduce Pure Fuel to you. You know, this is something that is new to us. It's new to you. You know, this is our first episode.
Yeah, you said welcome back, and I was like, welcome.
See, well, yeah, for real, welcome. I say, well, again, old habits die hard.
100%.
Anytime behind the microphone, it's another time. But we're joining you here from James Oliver Coffee in Corktown, Detroit. Beautiful space.
Cutest coffee shop ever.
We love it. You know, this is
exposed brick.
Just so picturesque. So we're glad that you guys are joining us. We're going to just share a bit about what Pure Fuel is going to be, what it's all about, you know, some of the things that you can expect us to be releasing over the next weeks and months. And honestly, I didn't have this in the notes, but I want to share what the title came from.
Okay.
You know, I think it's fun. It's a little important. So Pure Fuel actually comes from, the Embers Coffee Co., you know, the group we're a part of, the shop we're opening. You can buy our stuff online.
Plug.
Emberscoffee.co. Our batch brew, our main, if you came into our shop and you just got literally said, give me a cup of coffee, we would give you what's called the batch brew, and it's called Pure Fuel. And it's, if you don't know, that's the one with the astronaut design on the front of it.
It's my favorite design. I love the little astronaut.
And so then we adopted that to be the design, everything for this.
Yep.
And that was a few reasons. One, you know, for some people, coffee is just fuel. You know, they want, I think there's more to it than this, but at the bottom level, that's kind of mean.
Yeah. And I like good coffee, but I also drink it because I need it. You know,
there are some people, you know, they live a busy life.
Yeah.
And not always for reasons of their own. And they're like, I need my coffee this morning. So Pure Fuel, it's what starts the day for some people. But then they're beyond that. And that's where this podcast comes in. Is we love coffee, and we love the nuances of it, the specialty aspect of it. There's so many pieces and layers to it.
I was going to say, we probably love it too much, but
yeah, it's a problem. So before my coffee journey started a couple of years ago, and I was like, all right, I'll get something decaf once a week or every 2 weeks or once a month.
Wild to me.
It is. And now I swung the other direction. And a few weeks ago, I was talking to Kaylee, my wife, and I'm like, I think I'm addicted to coffee. Today, I'm like, I don't need it. I don't need to make something. I don't need to go out somewhere and buy something. I don't need it. And I just,
but you're like, but I want it.
I want it. And so there's just something that's invigorating about coffee, and it's not the caffeine we're talking about.
Right.
But, the culture is just something so exciting.
Because you can get caffeine in other places.
Yeah.
But there's something specific about a coffee shop.
Literally, I'm like, where do you get caffeine? I mean, Red Bull.
I was going to say an energy drink, but
it's
also.
Like chocolate? No.
Well, yeah, chocolate, I guess. But pop has caffeine in it.
That's true. Something I don't often drink.
Yeah. And then tea, but you can get that at a coffee shop too. But I feel like there is something so, coffee has become a thing of its own.
Yes.
There's not energy drink shops.
Right.
That's a gas station.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. Yeah. And so, and then you have the astronaut as our logo, and it's, you know, all over everything you've seen if you're watching our podcast. And that's kind of the exploration piece of it.
Because there's a lot that we don't know, and I think it's fun. I'm not always going to be here, so sorry. But Eric gets to interview other people who, have
they know a lot more than me.
Yes. I was going to say, have a specific niche, that they know about the roasting process or all the different brews you can do, stuff like that. And that's a lot more technical than we don't have degrees.
Yeah, honestly, we're going to get into this, but my coffee taste is very basic. I have one drink. It makes me think I'm not going to go talk about Nate Bargatze. He's like, I got this one little drink. That's all I want. That's me. Every shop I go to, I get one drink.
Interesting. I did not know that, actually.
Espresso on ice, oat milk, also known as an iced latte.
Yeah.
When I say latte, I feel pretentious, but
Yeah.
but it is what it is.
You gotta expand. Maybe this podcast will also be Eric expanding his palate.
I think the thing is, we'll talk about taste, but this is me expanding.
Yeah.
Like, I don't drink anything bitter. I don't drink anything hot. Like, I didn't drink coffee until I think I was actually 30 years old.
Wow.
When I started drinking coffee.
I'm pretty sure I was 12. My first drink was a latte at Speedway.
Ooh. All right. Well, we're going to leave it there because that's all that there is to say about that one. So
Shout out Speedway Coffee.
what do you think we say? I say Speedway a lot on this when I'm thinking about this podcast. So over the next, as we release episodes, we're going to talk about what is coffee culture, what is roasting. Great plug. We're actually going to interview David, one of the co-owners of James Oliver.
Yes.
And talking about this shop and his journey. We're going to be interviewing Sean Murray, the roaster of Rootless Coffee up in Grand Blanc, Michigan. And a lot of other people. We're going to get into the nitty gritty of the coffee. No pun intended, because coffee should be smooth. So I guess maybe that wasn't a pun. We're going to get into the creative side of it, the environment of it, the community of it. That's another side avenue. So we're going to have a slew of voices, and that's really what this is meant to be. I get to be the host because if I know something, I can share it. And if I don't, I can pretend that I know it and just ask the expert.
And sometimes just asking good questions. And when you have someone who's an expert, they can just go.
Yeah.
Like, you can ask one question. They're like, oh, let me tell you about this wider range of things you wouldn't even think to ask because, again, we're not experts.
Exactly. So I've learned enough in my short coffee journey to know I know more than some people, but I know less than a lot of other people.
Yeah.
And so it's fun to be able to meet in the middle and kind of think about what can we share. Some of these things are fascinating to me. It's awesome.
I always think coffee, I feel like people think coffee is a really basic thing, but when you start reading into it, even the type of bean or how you grind the bean or how you roast, there's so much intricacy to it.
Yes. And a little difference can change the taste.
Right.
And it's awesome. I'm fascinated, and I'm trying to not be too fascinated because then I'll dive headfirst into something else I don't have time to. I can't become a roaster right now. It's not possible. I can't.
Eric's gonna take up a side gig.
I'm gonna move to South America and start finding green coffee beans to buy. Can't do that. So we just want to start by sharing, what we love about coffee. I think that's what makes us credible sources, is that we drink coffee.
Yeah. I was again, we don't have a degree. I don't know if there's I'm almost positive there's probably a coffee degree or something.
I mean, that'd be awesome. I've never been to barista school.
It would be fun. But for me, I had coffee for the first time at 12. Okay, so him at 30 is a little slightly different. But I love the community aspect of it. I don't know how many times where I'm you know what? I don't necessarily have time to be hey, do you want to go grab dinner? But I'm do you want to go grab a coffee and we can chat and sit on the patio outside and hang out and sip our drinks? And that's that's one of my favorite things to do is just the togetherness that coffee shares. There's not many places where you can be hey, do you want to go, grab a smoothie and go sit? That's not really a thing. You don't do that with many other drinks.
Okay, sidebar. I grew up a church kid, and in church, getting coffee with someone is a really standard thing.
Yeah.
I didn't drink coffee. So they'd be do you want to get coffee? And I'd be yes. And we get to the counter, what do you want? I'll just take water.
Oh.
Just water, please. We need to normalize non-coffee dates. But anyway.
Sidebar.
You can get that at a coffee shop. I love that. Not to hijack your...
That's fine.
your piece. What else do you love about coffee?
I mean, the taste, first of all. I'm a person that I don't mind when coffee is a little bit more bitter. I don't want it burnt or anything. That's not my, that's not my cup of tea. But as my husband shakes his head off camera, but I've always really, really enjoyed the taste of coffee. I'm not like a person who wants it super sweet. I'm more of like a floral, like nutty kind of, like any like note of that I love. So like a lavender latte, that's my girl. But yeah, like for me, like coffee's always just been something that I have really enjoyed, and it's also something that keeps me focused, which I know that's caffeine, but like also if I have like work to do and I don't have a coffee, I'm like, I can't get anything done.
Oh,
which maybe is a problem that we need to talk about, but it's fine. What do you love about coffee, Eric?
So I'm gonna start with this. What you just ended is the taste, and that's part of the reason why I get the same drink. So I have this thing until I went gluten-free a couple of months ago.
Classic.
I know. I love donuts. Like, I'm a big donut guy. It's actually a big problem. For my.
It's an addiction.
It is. It's a problem. But I would always try new coffee places, and I would get into it. Like I want to know, or not coffee, donut places, and I want to know what's better, what's great. And I had this theory that if, like, I could learn everything I needed to know about a donut shop by having their standard yeast glazed donut.
Okay.
Like when you think about a donut, like at the basic level,
Like the cake donuts, right?
No.
Oh.
Not the cake ones.
You mean like the fluffier ones?
Yeah, like when you think of Krispy Kreme.
Yeah.
And they have
that donut.
like the very.
Okay.
Yeah, like.
I love that I did not realize that was called a yeast donut, but okay, continue.
Yeast, not cake,
Yeah, okay. That
it's not as dense as a cake. But the reason I did that, not because that's the only one that mattered. I would eat other donuts, but like you can tell a lot about the process, and that's kind of how I feel. So I take my coffee without syrups, without sugars, no sweeteners. If it's sweet, I don't really want it. That's kind of how I am, and I'm developing a taste for it. But I love the artistic practice behind it.
Yeah,
how, like,
that's true too.
It's not just here you go. That is Speedway. That is basic coffee, and if you like that, cool.
Yeah.
But I love that aspect of, hey, we're crafting something, and even if the craft is consistent, even if there's a process to it, it's still more than just we're pouring something in a cup and handing it to you.
There's art in that.
There's art to it, and even beyond the basics of latte art, the actual you can get coffee without black coffee is still an art. And I watched recently a David Blaine special, which he I don't do like magicians that often. It was on like National. It was on National Geographic, and I'm like, this is gonna be like very visually appealing. So let me watch. And so he travels around the world and meets some people, and he met some people in Japan who were like, the whole point of it, he said, was people doing real things that's so crazy it looks like magic. Okay, so that was his whole theme. None of it was actually sleight of hand.
Okay.
But it was like, this is so wild that you just think this has to be magic. It can't be a human just doing something.
Yeah.
And
Did he do latte art?
He did not do latte
because I always think that looks like magic when people do it.
No, but he talked to this guy. I don't actually even remember the exact specific task the guy did, but he was interviewing him, and he wasn't old, but he wasn't young. It wasn't like he was this 20-year-old guy just kind of doing something crazy.
So he was middle-aged?
I mean, I don't know how old he was. He had been doing it for a very long time.
Yeah.
And the guy talked about how important it was to invest himself into something long-term to be great at his craft.
Yeah.
And even if that craft was something like mind-boggling,
right?
I heard that. I'm like, that's awesome. The idea that I'm going to spend years perfecting this thing. Like, even if it's an A, can I get an A+? Even if it's an A+, can I change the scale to make it even better than what it is?
Not to get into like how our culture is at large, but that's not really how we are nowadays. It's a lot of the times we're like, okay, well, let's just try to be okay at a lot of different things because we move on so quickly. But to actually like perfect your craft is something that like you can have pride in because you spent all of that time and effort into making something.
Yeah.
Even if someone like, I'm sure people will get their coffee and not realize like how far those beans traveled.
Oh yeah.
What was the roasting process like? Like, oh, people just get their coffee because they need it for, the morning and they don't want to be tired. But when you really begin to think about it, like so many hands touched that coffee and like helped that process for you to get your morning caffeine.
Right. Well, and it's true. And I think that's, we kind of noted, I've not been there, but the difference between how like Italy sees coffee and how the U.S. sees coffee?
That is like, it's so interesting to me because, so I was in Europe a few years back, and like I was in London, which is still like
Not Italy.
Yeah, they're pretty fast paced, but like even like Spain is similar, but like in Italy they rarely have to go cups. So they get like all of their, and they usually just do like espresso or like a cappuccino. They don't have all of our frappuccinos and crazy drinks. And if you ask for a macchiato, it's going to be completely different than Starbucks. But like in America, we're so like fast paced, like go, go. And we like, when is the last time that we actually were like, actually, I want that coffee for here, and I'm going to sit down and I'm going to take a moment to enjoy my drink. And instead it's like, oh no, we're on our way to work and we're going to, you know, work 12 hours and then we're going to go home. And then like,
Yes.
It's just a very different change of pace. I kind of love that, like in Italy, like they literally have coffee bars where like you sit at the counter and you drink your drink and you do not leave until it's finished and then you leave.
Oh yeah.
So it's like, that's like how they treat that over there. And I mean, neither one's right or wrong, because it's like, if you got to get to work, you got to get to work. But it's very interesting that like they savor their coffee more. I feel like that's kind of, sometimes we just drink it because we need it. And I like that idea of like savoring it.
Yeah. And I think that shift, I mean, that's a shift I think this is not what this podcast is about, but you know, a lot of other areas of life, you know, slowing down, engaging, you know, all of those things. I think that's significant here because it's hard to develop a taste if you're trying to drink this as fast as you can. Or if it's like the fourth thing, like you're driving, you shouldn't be, but you're texting anyway. You know, you're trying to listen to music and think about, you know, the first meeting of the day, and you're downing whatever cup is in your cup holder.
100%.
You know, you're not going to notice the taste.
Right.
It's been really fun for me as we've, you know, shared coffee with people, and some of our coffee, and even not our coffee, but when people try it and they say, oh, this either is really smooth or this tastes really good. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, it doesn't have to be terrible. And that's, there's a lot. We're going to actually have an episode about roasting, an episode about brewing, so we can dive into that. That's an exciting thing. But you can't develop a taste if you're going 100 miles an hour.
Right, exactly.
But if you can slow down a little bit and maybe get your coffee for here, you know, instead of to go.
Yeah, you know, like if you have the time, I mean, sometimes it's nice to slow down because we miss out on a lot of things. We miss out on the taste of the coffee because we're just downing it. We miss out on the ambiance of a coffee shop. You know, like James Oliver that we're in right now is beautiful, but if I'm just rushing in and out, I'm not going to take in all the fine details that I'm sure there's heart in that. Like they put a lot of effort in. It's really, you know, it's aesthetically
The only
pleasing.
caveat I'll say is I often get a to-go cup because sometimes I'm going to stay a while, but I might not drink it fast enough.
Yeah, that's
so
fair.
Like it goes beyond.
You want it like.
So it's like, hey, I'm drinking
insulated.
this for a couple of hours.
Yes.
And so like then I am taking my time and savoring it.
Yeah, that's
but
fair.
It has to go with me. Or the opposite. I don't know why I down my coffee. But a lot of times it's because it's so good. Like I wish it was so much bigger than it is. Like that's why I want to drink it every day. Because like, well, I had
you guys
12
would love
ounces
to see
yesterday.
Eric's water jug that's like that big. It's gigantic. If you had that of coffee, I'd be terrified
Well,
of you.
everyone asks, coffee? I'm like, no, that would be terrible.
Your heart would be like, blah, blah, blah.
This episode would have been 5 minutes long. I'd just be sprinting through it. But that's a piece of, you know, hey, this is so good. I'm trying to slow myself a little bit to savor it because I just like it so much. I drink it too fast.
Yeah.
But I think that's something, developing that taste. We're going to talk on this podcast. It's going to be a continued discussion.
Right.
You know, now, later, way later, you know, what is good and what isn't. And I think that is a difficult question.
It took me a while. Well, I mean, it's subjective, first of all.
Yeah.
But it took me a while to develop a palate, I feel like, for coffee, which sounds really snobby, and I don't mean it as such. But again, I started at Speedway.
Yeah, but everyone has a palate. I think that's something we don't think about.
True.
Like, I'll get back to your palate story. But like for me, this is just the hijacking episode. Bethany starts, I take it over.
This is what we do.
That's how it goes. like for me, I hated coffee at first because I drank nothing in that realm. And it wasn't because the coffee was bad. I could have had the best coffee subjectively, objectively.
Yeah,
it didn't
but there's
matter.
nothing that tastes really similar to coffee.
Right. So
yeah.
like I would drink it. I'm like, I just straight up taste bitter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what it is. And as I forced myself to drink coffee at first. Like I want to develop a taste for what's good and bad.
Yeah.
And eventually I did because it was, I noticed all these other notes and these other things. It's not just bitter.
And you know what they say too? Some scientist in the comments is probably gonna be like, you're actually wrong, but your taste buds change every 7 years. So
if you're a scientist, please say that in the comments. That'd be
please
great.
prove me wrong.
We'll respond.
But that's what I've been told, because I like stuff that like as a kid I didn't like. And like I'm sure a lot of kids, like if you gave them a little taste of coffee, would be like, oh, that's awful. But then adults like crave it, you know?
That's where here I am taking over. That's where I was as a kid. I would try my dad's coffee. I'm like, this is terrible.
Yeah.
But I've always loved the smell of coffee.
Right.
Like
Oh,
I have a coffee candle, and Kaylee's like, this is too much. I'm like, this is perfect.
No, it's so
I
good.
love it.
Yeah.
You know, so this is really good. So yeah, what is good, what isn't good? It comes with the palate.
It definitely does. And I think this is going to sound silly, but when you have good coffee, you'll know. Like if you've just had like whatever bad for like your whole, so this is kind of a silly story, but I've always hated pork chops. Hated them. Sorry, Mom, if you're listening to this, but my mother, bless her heart, would not make the best pork chops. And I thought I hated them for years. And then I had a good pork chop and I was like, oh, wait, this tastes different. It's like, I actually don't mind this. So I feel like that's like similar with coffee, is like, you know, you don't know that it's burnt until you've had coffee that's not burnt. You don't know that, you know, it's way too bitter or it's really, really weak. Like diner coffee, sometimes you're like, I'm just chugging this down for the caffeine.
Yeah.
But there's some good diner coffee, but you know. So like you don't know until you have like really smooth, rich coffee that you're like, oh, it can taste like this?
Yeah.
Like that's pretty good.
Yeah, I think, you know, all of that kind of goes into, you know, the last bit that not today, we'll be talking about on the show is
That
the
we'll ever
ecosystem.
talk again.
Yeah, right. The ecosystem of coffee and how it's not just, you know, in shops, you know, the whole process of the bean, but also the care for the farmers that grow it and the finances of it. You know, there's so much there too. So why a podcast? I guess we're going to end the episode with the question maybe we should have started with. You know,
Maybe you're like listening to this entire episode and you're like, why are you guys talking?
I'm going to name this episode Why a Podcast so that you listen to the first like 20 something minutes of it.
Yeah.
And like, oh, okay, this is what it is. And then
Absolutely
we're basically
perfect.
done.
So when Eric came to me with this idea, I was kind of like, Eric, I know we like to talk. That's kind of our thing. But will anyone care?
I'll care.
Yeah.
Me, I care.
Eric will care. My thing is kind of what you were just saying. I am so fascinated in the process of learning about like how coffee beans get to us, the roasting process, the brewing process. Me personally, I'm interested in that. So like I would listen to a podcast about that just because I'm curious. But also, I mean, both you and I are a part of the Embers Coffee Co. team. And I think it's important, like you said earlier, the David Blaine guy, like he perfected his craft. Yeah. And we want to perfect our craft to make good coffee.
Yeah. And so this whole podcast is really about, you know, we love coffee and coffee culture. And I'm a newbie. And I think that's, I'm fine with that. You know, and that's what's fun is I'm able to go to places near and far. Hopefully we get, you know, some podcast time to talk about, you know, our coffees and our travels. But it's fun to see with a different eye than I've seen anything before. Right. You know, there's so many things in my life that I learned about as a kid or I learned about in my teens. And it became normalized or I went through it really quickly. And now this is something that I'm in my 30s. I would think smarter than I've ever been. Doesn't mean I'm really smart. It just means I'm smarter than I was.
Hopefully every year you get smarter.
Yeah, it's just my trajectory is going up. And, you know, I'm able to, you know, be part of this, you know, Embers journey, but also be part of loving coffee and learning to love coffee and expanding my palate. You know, I'll let this podcast know when I finally get a drink that's not
Yes. I'll try to convince
that's not
him.
a latte.
I say as I'm drinking a lavender latte. So that's my thing.
Hey, that's fine. But we also get to learn coffee together.
Yeah,
and then
I'm excited.
The last piece, and this is why we're here, we're supporting coffee culture.
Yes.
I think that's the last bit that I want to share in that as we've gone through this process, and I am sure it's going to come up a lot across other episodes, but that question of who are you competing against? So much of business and industry, people talk about like, well, who's your competition? Where's the market? Who are you trying to get customers from? But there's so much that goes into coffee, and frankly, a little cup of coffee, if this lasts me more than a day, but it won't last me more than like an hour, like that's kind of odd, or 2 hours, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm going to need to buy it again tomorrow.
Right.
If I want coffee, I need to buy more or make more. And there's so many people that drink coffee, so many people that can drink coffee, can learn about coffee, that supporting local coffee culture is actually part of the heart of this podcast, part of Embers Coffee Co.
Yeah.
Because, hey, we may be against someone like Speedway because, I don't think their coffee is very good. But we can say, come to James Oliver.
Yeah.
They have an awesome space and awesome coffee. I've been here many times. This isn't my first or second time here.
And we're all going to be in different spaces. And it's like, if we were the only, craft coffee shop in the area, I don't know if people would travel an hour to get their coffee.
Right.
So, we want to support local because it makes a difference. I mean, supporting local businesses to begin with is important. But coffee in general, you drink it, but there's places that, a drive-through might be the easier option, but is it really going to be better coffee?
Right.
So I think that's important that we're supporting the other shops in our area.
Yeah, and recognizing that they do awesome work. Some other shops that hopefully we get to show you, they do awesome stuff. And we're all kind of in this same...
But I do love it here.
The same...
I love an exposed brick.
As she pets it like an animal.
Strokes the brick.
All right, well, so that's what the Pure Fuel podcast is going to be.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for checking out our first episode. Subscribe, stay tuned for what's coming up next. We have a lot coming up down the pike. We're excited about it.
Yeah, there's some good episodes coming.
Yeah, so stay tuned, and we'll see you next time.